This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is September 15th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, how are you doing?
Yo, what's up? Germany, champions of Europe again. EuroBasket 2025 champions. What a win for Franz, for Tristan, for Mo, I guess, on the sidelines. But yeah, that was a really fun game on Sunday, which I know we'll talk about. But yeah, I'm hyped for that. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. As you alluded to, absolutely huge win for Germany in the EuroBasket final with the 88-83 victory over Turkey, which we will talk about in just a little bit. We also have a great conversation with our friend Pierre, PeeWeeDaPlug, Andresen from ESPN's not through the wires, numbers on the board. I'm still trying to get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had a fantastic conversation with him. The entire team does such a great job, but like when you have a conversation with him, he just knows basketball. Like it just comes across so clearly. But yeah, we'll get to all of that. Really quick, just wanted to say, obviously our last episode was pretty different from what we normally do, at least the beginning of it. And people that either agree with us, don't agree with us, the feedback's just been really positive. We've had people, reaching out, whether it be, through DMs or email or whatever, just kind of sharing their, thoughts. And again, a lot of people that don't agree with, the way that you and I kind of view everything that happened with Charlie Kirk. But like, it was just really encouraging to know that no matter how much like evil you see out in the world, there's still a lot of good. So appreciate everybody for that.
Sorry, I was going to say, that was the encouraging part, was obviously not everyone sees things the same way about most things in life. And so to be able to come together and just have civilized conversation about some of these things, I think it was great, and appreciate that everyone was for the most part, very respectful. If you disagreed with things that were said, and it was a great coming together of again, if you watch the show, listen to the show, obviously you have the common bond of liking this basketball team, but outside of that, we have the common bond of just being humans. And so being able to connect in that way with a lot of respect both ways, I think was really, really special. And again, I hope that those kinds of interactions continue in the future as we all just navigate through life, the messiness of life, which, very unpredictable. But yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in to that episode in particular.
Yeah. Well, a few days ago, Kev, we also got some news that Paolo Banchero won launching a YouTube channel, but also like launching a documentary series that's been 3 years in the making, back to like his pre-draft process, obviously until now. So youtube.com/@PaoloBanchero_5. You can find his official channel. 2.31 subscribers. We got to get those numbers up for our guy Paolo. Like that first episode, just kind of like, it was all about, where he is now, but also like going back to like the pre-draft process and draft night. We got to see his raw reaction to the Desmond Bane trade back in June. I think Cam Beverly is the videographer and video editor that Paolo's been working with for some time, and he does such a phenomenal job. And just thought it was really, really cool. That first episode is literally called Pulling Back the Curtain. So to be able to see behind the curtain, just really dope, and looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I don't know how many episodes there will be, but when he announced that and then quickly the first episode dropped, like it was really cool, but like it's high quality content, like the actual video production side of it. Like it's really, really good. The editing's great. Like I loved the flashback moment. Like it was awesome. And so shout out to him and their whole team. I think it's gonna be great. And it just made me think about, like, over the course of those 3 years, think about all the different things that happened that could be featured in future episodes. Think of amazing things like the run to the playoffs, or, more stuff from getting drafted, to some of the low things. Like think about the injury, the oblique injury, like how much behind the scenes stuff maybe did they get for that? Just the whole range of things. And so all that, I'm super, super excited for the rest of this series. And like I said, I don't know how many episodes there are. But either way, I'm excited for him. And definitely show Paolo some love. Go subscribe. Go do all the YouTube things. You can do it for us later, but first go to Paolo, subscribe, leave a comment on that first episode, show some love, and looking forward to future episodes.
So back to Sunday's EuroBasket finale, Germany versus Turkey. Turkey started this game, Kev, on a 13-2 run. Early, it was really not looking good for Germany, but they quickly fought back to tie the game up at 14 apiece. And then this was like a heavyweight title fight the rest of the way, just haymaker after haymaker. I don't exactly have the stats in front of me of just like how many lead changes there were in this game, but it felt like at least double digits, maybe a dozen or so. Franz Wagner had an incredible game in this one, finishing 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 massive chase down blocks. He didn't really start the game that strong. I think he started like 1 for 4 from the floor, but finished 7 of 13. Tristan da Silva also had a phenomenal game, 13 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, 3 of 4 from behind the arc. All of those threes were huge. Dennis Schroeder, who ended up being the FIBA EuroBasket Tissot MVP of EuroBasket, which we can talk about and maybe argue about a little bit as well. But he had 16 points, 12 assists, huge baskets and huge free throws kind of down the stretch in that game. And then the leading scorer for Germany, Isaac Bonga, in 24 minutes had 20 points, 4 of 4 from behind the arc. And each one of those threes came at such like dire moments for Germany where the lead was Turkey's lead was getting to like 4 or to 6, and then Bonga would hit a big 3. Daniel Theis had 3 points in this game, a huge 3 with like, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go, something like that, to give them the 1-point lead. Like, this was just such a scrappy win for Germany. They win the gold medal, just so well deserved, and it was a phenomenal final.
Yeah, I was about to say, the game itself was incredible. Like, if you've got nothing else to do this week, you can find yourself some free time, find a way to go watch at least the highlights of the game, if not the game itself. Like, it was outrageous. You mentioned lead changes. I found it. 15 lead changes and 11 ties. This game was bonkers. It was so good. It was worthy of a final. Both teams undefeated going into this game. Like you said, it really was like a heavyweight title match. And it, again, worthy of a final. It was really, really good. You mentioned Franz. The other guy we got to talk about, Tristan, as well. Mm-hmm. Tristan ended up with 13 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 4 boards, an assist, and a couple turnovers. Tristan was phenomenal on both ends in this game. And really, honestly, the whole tournament. I don't know if you want to like take a step back
like
here and look at
a little like slow start, like the first 2 or 3 games in the group stage. But like when it got down to like it's winning time and they were going up, against Finland, obviously. And like once they've started to get into the knockout round, like they do not win this tournament without Tristan da Silva. And
that's right.
Through the warm up, like the friendlies and through the first few games in the group stage, I was like, man, like Tristan just isn't really popping. And honestly, it was pretty disappointing, right? Like looked really good in summer league. And I thought like what we got out of him is really what I thought he could be. And he even exceeded like the loftiest expectations that I had for him. Cause we talked about it early on. It felt like maybe he was struggling kind of adjusting to the role and especially like the physicality and style of play in EuroBasket. But man, did he ever step up to the plate.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. And maybe I'm just picking out the highlights, but all we have seen from Tristan in big moments is making winning plays. Yeah. That's what we've seen, especially this game. Like probably this might be the biggest game of his basketball life. Like if you think about it, like the stakes and the environment and all those things, the level of competition, and he balled out. And I don't just mean balled out, like very timely threes. He was, again, 3 of 4 from 3 in this game. He was almost automatic. And, I think back to, what was it? Was it the Celtics game where he hit the corner 3?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, the Celtics game. Like, and yeah, again, the highlights stick out in your head. I'm sure there were moments in, Tristan's Magic career, as short as it's been, where it was clutch time and he, turned the ball over and missed a shot. I don't know. There's probably been a couple of those, but at the same time, for his age, for his level of experience, he has had some big moments in some big games, and I think that bodes really well for him just as a whole as a basketball player. But all in all, terrific EuroBasket for him. He ends up, what did I say earlier? 52.9% from three for the entire tournament. 18 of 34 from three. That's outrageous. That means combined, the Orlando Magic shot 40.2% from three for this tournament. So that's good. We'll take that, right? The team shoots 40% from three.
So on the other side of that coin, Franz shot 28.9% of 11 of 38, which it was just like last year he just like completely struggled, but in EuroBasket it felt very streaky. Like when he got hot, like the beginning of the tournament, we talked about him, shooting close to, I think it was 50% from three through their first few games. But obviously fizzled out. I will say the shooting stroke, it does look a lot better, but at the end of the day, they need to go in. But just throwing Franz's stats out there, 26.9 minutes per game in 9 games in EuroBasket, 20.8 points per game, shot 56.4% from the floor, 54% on twos, 28.9% from three, 84.5% from the free throw line, added 5.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.1 steals per game. So he was awesome. And Tristan, 19.2 minutes, 10.4 points per game, 55% from the floor, 58% on twos, 52.9% on threes. Didn't shoot many free throws, but he was 8 for 9 in the tournament, so 88.9%. And he added 3.6 rebounds, just under an assist per game, and just under a steal, and just under a block. So with the absence of Mo Wagner, and then especially with Johannes Voigtman going out after the first couple of games, to be honest with you, if we look at Alperen Şengün's stat line in this game, he had 28 points. When they had Johannes Thiemann on Alperen Şengün and he's just like eating him up possession after possession, in my mind, I was like, the Voigtman injury is going to cost Germany the EuroBasket. And then, he gets pulled late in the game. They go to Theis. Theis was able to disrupt Şengün a little bit more, especially grab some more rebounds. And like that was the difference in the game, like the final few minutes. Like Alperen Şengün, Shane Larkin, Adem Bona, he gave Germany plenty of problems in this game, as well as Cedi Osman. Cedi Osman, 23 points. He ended up 6 of 9 from three. Theis had like the big three to put Germany up late, and then down 3 with 30 something seconds left. Şengün takes that kind of like early 3 from the top of the key, and I was like, dude, that it felt like he was trying to be the hero.
That's right.
Try to tie that game up, and just was not a good shot. He was 1 of 5 from 3 in this game, and that essentially sealed the victory for Germany.
Yeah, and one of the things, going back to Franz and Tristan, like we can look at the offensive numbers and all that, but like defensively, both guys were quite good. Different obviously, but you mentioned Franz with a couple blocks, but defensively, they're given tough assignments, both of them. And I thought Friday's game against Finland, I thought they were the 2 best defenders on the team for Germany on Friday. I thought they were sensational, and Sunday no exception. And so again, 2-way players, big for the Magic, obviously showing up big for Germany as well. And so, yeah, I thought it was a great summer for both of them. Franz, did we learn anything about Franz in this tournament? I don't think so. I think so. Franz is who Franz is. I learned, I think, a little more about Tristan. I really, again, I don't want to, beat a dead horse, but I came away really impressed with Tristan. I think this is a great experience for him. And hopefully it's something he can build on going into the season, which is, by the way, just a couple weeks away now, which is pretty crazy.
I totally agree. Not that there was like any real doubt that Tristan wouldn't be in the lineup, but this like really solidified it for me.
Yeah.
And like has shown that like this dude has the potential to be like a real like contributor come playoff time, right? Like right. I do think these high pressure situations, because like looking at, Germany throughout this tournament, like they had a couple of close calls, at least like, I'm thinking back to, was it Portugal where the game was pretty close and then they're able to kind of blow the doors open, in the third quarter or the fourth quarter. Same thing, with the last, game against Finland. It was a little bit tight. They kind of take over in the fourth quarter. So these were like good learning moments in high pressure situations for both Franz, but especially Tristan. And I just want to take a minute here. Like, I know this has kind of become like a yearly tradition for us almost, where we become like honorary like German citizens and teams of or fans of their basketball team. Like looking at what they've been able to do over the course of the last 4 years, like if you look at all time before, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, and some of these other guys playing for Germany in the FIBA World Cup in 2002, they won a bronze medal. And then in 1993, they won the gold medal in EuroBasket. And in 2005, they won the silver medal in EuroBasket. Just the last 4 years, Kev, they've been able to almost like double their like medal count here. So 2022 EuroBasket win the bronze medal. And then the following summer, 2023, they go on to win the gold at FIBA World Cup. Finished fourth in the Olympics. They lost in the third place game, so they didn't medal in the Olympics last summer. And then this year, they follow that up with the gold medal at EuroBasket. So, they've done more. They've doubled the amount of medals in these last, 4 summers now. Yeah. Especially since Franz has been playing for EuroBasket, and during that time, like him and Dennis Schroeder have been leading this team. I did want to ask you. Dennis Schroeder ends up with the Tissot FIBA EuroBasket MVP. Bias, definitely. I think it should have been Franz. Their numbers offensively were so close. And Franz definitely carrying more of the defensive load. And I don't know what it is about Germany, but they just still have not like really put it together that the offense just flows so much better when Franz is getting regular touches. When it's the Dennis the Menace show, the offense just goes through these dry spells where they really seem to struggle. Dennis was great, overall in this game, but especially late these last couple of games. Like I'm thinking back to the semifinal and this final. Like in the semifinal down the stretch, he was trying to give that game away with bad shots, with turnovers late in that game, and there was a lot of that in this game as well. I'm thinking back to the final minutes, like he pulls up an early shot clock 3, also had a couple of turnovers, late in this game from what I remember. Like I just felt that Franz was like the better, like more consistent player throughout the tournament. And, Dennis also got it for the World Cup a couple of years ago. So like, maybe Franz should get one of these, but like on merit alone, I really thought Franz should have been the MVP of this tournament.
Well, I think part of it is in crunch time, Dennis is going to get the basketball.
Dennis is going to make sure of that, yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
But Franz also does defer a lot.
But that's what I was going to say. Like it's both sides. It's number one, Dennis wants the ball. Number two, I think Germany is choosing to put the ball in the hands of Dennis, but also Franz is deferring. I think that's part of it, and that's part of his personality too. But when you do have the ball down the stretch, that does give you opportunities to make winning plays. Which, to his credit, as annoying as I thought he was in certain moments, he did make the buckets that mattered down the stretch, and so even though there was zero ball movement and it was all ISO and I'm going to do this and, whatever, it worked, so can't complain about it at this point. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you make those buckets down the stretch, plus the tournament that he had as a whole, you're probably going to win the MVP. And so I understand it, though I don't agree with it. However, I think if Franz is given the ball down the stretch, I also think Franz makes those plays. And then I think Franz wins MVP. But at this point, he's going to defer to the older, more experienced Dennis Schroeder, hoping that someday he'll be the head of the team and he'll have an opportunity to take over moments like that.
Well, during the celebration, Franz decided to put on Mo's Team Germany jersey, put it on backwards. So, Moritz was across the front. And then did you see Mo's like celebration he posted to his Instagram? What'd you think of all that?
Yeah, that was amazing. Not only that, but I saw the video of Magenta Sport, I guess is the TV station. I don't know if it's based in Germany or based somewhere, but their coverage of the same moment. So they had Mo on camera when Franz walked out with the Moritz jersey on, and he got all emotional. And it was really special. And so I think that's very cool. Like, I don't know how you are with your siblings or people watching are with siblings, but if I live with one of my siblings all the time and I worked with them all the time, eventually I would become very, I don't want to say sick of them, but they would probably annoy me.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that happens, right? But to see that connection still, like to see Franz, do something like that and to see what it meant to Mo, it was super special. And super happy for them, happy for Germany, obviously. If there's one shadow that was cast on this moment on Sunday, did you see Hedo Turkoglu? Sad Hedo Turkoglu, president of basketball. I don't know what his official title is. He's the head of the Turkish Basketball Federation, or whatever you want to call it. And so they showed him, on the sideline there afterwards, and he was very disheveled, obviously walking away with a silver medal. But, poor Turk. But at the end of the day, very, very happy for Franz, for Tristan, for Mo, for the whole Wagner family, and for Germany. And hey, we got a lot of people from Germany that watch and listen to the show. So congratulations to you as well. Yeah. Thank you for letting us be a part of the German basketball family every summer. So glad we were able to do it again this summer. It was really fun.
I really do enjoy it. Like the German national team, I know we've talked about when they play Team USA, it's a real conflict of interest just because we have different relationships, to a lot of these NBA players that play for different teams, and then they're all just kind of thrown together or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, when it's just Team USA and then, there's Team Germany and they have a multiple guys who play for the Magic, I love following this German team. They're so much fun. They're so good. If you have listened to us talk about this German national team over the course of the last few summers and haven't taken it upon yourself to check it out to see what the hype is about, they are so good and it is so much fun. And these games are so freaking competitive. These guys playing for their countries, they care so much and they leave it all out on the floor. And you see guys that you've never heard of step up in really big ways, and you're yeah, of course that who was it? Who do they play? I'm just thinking to Goga's team, Georgia, Shangalia, hitting big threes as they try to, come back in their game. So just a lot of fun watching these international competitions, and yeah, just congrats again to Germany.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also makes you wonder, there's certain guys freaking Obst. That dude can absolutely light it up from three. Yeah. Why is he not in the National Basketball Association? Your Orlando Magic should. You watch these games, you just go, oh my goodness, this dude's insane. And so stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, before I started watching Germany, I never heard of Andreas Obst. Certainly didn't think he could shoot a basketball. And so stuff like that just kind of opens.
One of the best shooters in the world.
He's unreal.
100%.
Unreal. But yeah, just kind of opens your perspective a little bit. And so yeah, lots of fun. Congrats to Germany. The Six Man Show is brought to you by our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken. Jam Hot Chicken, they're your friends too, because they are now giving away 10% off your purchase when you use code 6th Man when you order online. Again, that's 6th Man, spell out the whole word, SIXTHMAN, gets you 10% off when you go to their website. Go to their website, click on the menu, click order now, and use that code 6th Man for 10% off your order when you order ahead online. Who is Jam Hot Chicken? They're bringing jams, culture, and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. They have some of the best food in Central Florida. It's not just about the chicken, folks. The chicken is great, but so is the slaw. So is the pickles. So is the comeback sauce. So is the mac and cheese if you're into that kind of thing, which I'm not. But hey, Jonathan loves it, right? All the stuff is so good. You can find them at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square there in Winter Park. You can follow them on social media at Jam Hot Chicken. Visit their website, jamhotchickenfl.com, again, where you can access the menu, order online, and use that code 6Man for 10% off. By the way, I feel like I'm going to be judged a lot in the comments for not liking mac and cheese. It's not just Jam's mac and cheese. I don't like any mac and cheese. You can sue me. It's just my personal preference, whatever. Anyway, shout out to Jam Hot Chicken for sponsoring the show. And when you go visit them, let them know the Six Man Show sent you.
This episode is also brought to you by the Abraham fam, Jared Cooper, Austin Vogt, Richard Tuttle, Half Reekin, and Ellis. These are some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons. They went to patreon.com/the Six Man Show, where for as little as $2 a month, you can help support the show and help us do everything that we do here. And I mentioned the Abraham fam. They are our newest patrons. Whenever we have brand new patrons, we make sure to give them a very special shout out. So again, shout out to the Abraham fam. Really appreciate your support. Thanks for being here for sure. And then name some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons. Some of those benefits include access to our Discord community, access to our monthly Zoom call, which we're doing something new with our monthly Zoom call here at the end of next week, I think it is, Kevin. Yeah. Where for the first time, we're doing a midday Patreon Zoom so that some of our listeners from around the world who are, it's a little bit later in their day. They're not able to join when we usually do it, like 8 o'clock East Coast time. They're typically in bed, but this one they'll be able to join, so we're looking forward to that. So again, if you like what we're doing here, you want to help support the mission, head over to patreon.com/the6man show. Pick whatever tier works best for you. Every little bit helps, and we really, really appreciate it. And now let's go ahead and get back to the episode. And now let's get to our conversation with our friend PeeWeeDaPlug. And now, Magic fans, we are joined by a very special guest, a good friend of the program. This time of year, we like getting some outsider perspectives. So we are joined by none other than our friend from Numbers on the Board and ESPN, Pierre, PeeWeeDaPlug, Andresen. P, thanks so much for taking the time. How you been?
Man, I've been good. I've been enjoying my summer, laying low, trying to disconnect a little bit from basketball. But like we just talked about before we started recording, the summer and off season flew by, and now it's time to kind of get the gears going. So I'm actually excited to kind of talk about the Magic a little bit. An incredible off season for y'all. I'm excited. I'm obviously not a Magic fan, but I'm a basketball fan, and I've been a fan from afar of what they've been putting together. And so now I'm kind of fingers crossed for the health, like every other team in the NBA. But I think the season is going to be exciting for y'all.
Yeah, we're hoping so. Before we ask you a little more Magic specific stuff, I want to ask you about Numbers on the Board really fast. Now, your guys' rise to ascension has been insane. I don't know if I can say through the wire. I don't know if that's a cuss word anymore for you guys. Mm-hmm. Okay, back in the through the wire days and now Numbers on the Board days, you guys have had a ton of amazing guests on the show. And I was curious, do you have like a bucket list like guest? Like there's one guest that's eluding you that you're still like, I want to get him or her on the show. Is there one that you got circled on your list?
Man, there's a first and foremost, I'm not against talking to anybody. I'll say that first and foremost. I really enjoy the player's perspective. And I love when they come into our realm. See, I think we're a different form of media because we're not so buttoned up. Sometimes you have to be, right? I think the commissioner came on and it was a little bit more buttoned up because it's the commissioner. But I think 9 times out of 10, when players come and speak with us, they enter thinking it's just another media thing, and then they end up leaving realizing that it's a different feel, especially when it's the privilege of us having them in person, and they get to have the off camera and the vibe, and we get to make them feel comfortable. So I love talking to them all, but I don't think I have a bucket list anymore. The only reason is because we talked to like Derrick Rose has been on the show twice now. That was probably one. I'm a big Kobe fan. Obviously, Kobe passed away and is not here anymore. And then I think everybody else that I would want to talk to, it's probably like young guys. I really enjoy the NBA Draft Combine where we get to talk to guys there a lot. And I think that's been my favorite thing. Before, I probably would have told you LeBron, Paul George, Penny Hardaway, all of my guys that I really enjoy watching. But I think it's really refreshing and unique to connect and bond with those young guys. Like, to tie it back with y'all, we a couple years ago had Anthony Black. And Anthony Black was one of our favorites from that class that we got to talk to, because he was so personable, and it makes you even. I was a fan of his game then. I love tall point guards, but just to see the connection and how these guys are off the floor, because sometimes you just look at them as players, but the human element of it, like, you'll be surprised, man. A lot of guys are really good dudes, and it's amazing to see how their careers take off and how the public, or I guess even social media, perceive some guys. Because I've seen some guys like, they don't have the greatest perception, but then I'll see them outside of the game and be like, man, that's one hell of a dude. Like, it almost makes me think, like, I guess maybe I would love to talk to Draymond Green, because Draymond Green's perception on like outside is like, Draymond Green is this aggressive guy. He does all of this, but then I'll see him speak and I'm like, so I guess maybe Draymond Green. We talked to Steph and Clay. That was really dope. Kevin Durant, he's one of my favorite players of all time. And yeah, probably Penny Hardaway, just to give you some answers. But I really love talking to those young guys before they ever play a minute in the NBA. They're shy. They got their guard up, and then they come in there with us. And I always tell them, like, yo, this is not the typical media thing. You can relax, you can take a deep breath and just be yourself, and you get that personality. And it sometimes it's a little, I don't want to use the word sad, but sometimes it's frustrating because like the young guys will come in there and like when you tell them like, hey man, like you can chill, it's like a relief. And it's like, man, like what is happening in the media where we got these guys so bent up out of shape that, you know, they don't even feel comfortable being themselves sometimes. And I think it makes me put into perspective if we're even doing our job in the media. Because I think the whole thing, what we want to do, at least with numbers on the board and even my own personal thing with Teed Up, it's about being as transparent and like genuine as we can be. And if we make players feel like they have to put on this facade or wall, then we're not really doing our job. So I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but I love talking to the young guys because, you know, they believe you because they're so young when you say, hey, you can trust us. And that doesn't really happen with an 18 or, I mean, not an 18, but a 12-year veteran. Like Kevin Durant walks into the podcast and I say, hey, KD, you can trust me. He going to say, yeah, right. So I really enjoy talking to the young guys because you can see the impact of just reassuring them that it's a safe space to hoop. And we've had young guys tell us stuff on the side that is not public, and you're able to build trust that way too. You know what I mean? Like we've had certain guys tell us like, man, yeah, I hope I don't go over here. I hope they don't draft me. And it's like, we've never ever said it. And you can see them down the line and, you know, they know that you're not going to leak information or anything like that. So those relationships end up turning into things down the line that mean a lot more than just a come on my show for an interview type thing.
Well, Kevin and I can certainly relate to a lot of what you just shared. And when you're able to kind of break the ice with the players, it always makes for a better interview anyways. They don't give like the cookie cutter responses. But because we did bring up Adam Silver, I was going to ask this a little bit later, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Commissioner Adam Silver's comments about the NBA being a quote unquote highlight sport for fans that may not be able to or may not be able to afford to watch games. What are your thoughts on Adam Silver saying that this is a highlight sport?
I agree and disagree. I think it is a highlight sport because the times that we live in, unfortunately. I mean, that's just I don't think it is, but the way that it is consumed, it is a highlight sport. I talk to a lot of people every day about basketball, and they clearly don't watch basketball. They watch the highlights. You go to any high school. I just had a younger brother graduate high school. And so I've been around him, his teammates, and at his school, you know, talking basketball with young guys, seeing how they consume it. They're not watching basketball. They're watching highlights. That's why we have all of these prospects year in, year out. They're the greatest thing ever because of a 5-minute highlight reel of them just doing 360 dunks on guys that are not going to play college basketball. And then we see a lot of guys fizzle out because the hype of highlights didn't show everything that was in the actual game. So it is a highlight sport. But where I disagree is I don't think it should be a highlight sport for people who want to watch the games. And so when we talk about having that access, talk about, you know, all of these paywalls that each and every team is partnering up with whatever their local station is. And now you can't just turn on a game. Part of my love and passion for basketball came to have that accessibility. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch all 30 teams in 2005 when I was 10, but to be able to turn on Channel 9 and watch every single Bulls game was very, very big for me. You know what I mean? And those random nights of being able to watch a Gilbert Arenas on the Warriors or being able to watch, you know, Baron Davis when he was on the Hornets. I was never going to have access to those teams back then because they never played on ESPN. So it was something where I can connect and even have my own favorite players and not just the Kobe's and Tracy McGrady's of the worlds at the time. So I was disappointed with that because I do feel like the NBA has to do something. And I don't know who to point my finger at. I don't know if it's the commissioner. I don't know if it's the owners. But like, and I don't even want to sound like I've done all of the research, but just from a surface level perspective and what I do know, part of what I do know, it doesn't seem like there's enough to give back to the fans. And I think with fandom being at the level that it is, which I hate how big fandom is, I think you do have to reward fans, you know, whether that's a organization starting a straight A program where fans who get straight A's can come watch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would hurt owners in the NBA to have these programs where a fan can come and watch 2 games out of the year free. You know what I mean? What Ishbia did with the Suns, with the concessions, that shouldn't have been like this big thing. Every team should do that, if we're just being honest. You know what I mean? So I think that's an entire podcast episode in itself. But I do agree with the perspective that he gave, because a lot of people do consume it on a highlight basis. But I think there is this realm of people that prefer to be able to consume it, but they just can't. I'll be honest and transparent. When I was growing up, I wanted League Pass. I remember when League Pass was like you can buy it through the TV. My mom was not buying League Pass. That just wasn't a thing. So I had to get it out of the mud, which was basic cable and like WGN, which is a Chicago network. So it was what it was.
Yeah, League Pass. I remember we're probably similar age, but I remember when it was available on TV and it was like almost $300.
Yes,
yeah, no way, absolutely not.
Yes.
My parents were not paying for that. Forget it. Let's turn.
And I remember too, though, there used to be like the first week of the season, it was free.
Yes, the preview. Yeah.
Yes, and like I think about those times, and it's like if you're a Hornets fan, or who was the worst team in the NBA this year? Was it the Wizards, the Jazz? If your team is winning 20 games, hey man, don't charge people for that. If there's an NBA fan who just wants to watch NBA basketball and we're in game 60 or 70 and there's the last 10 or 15 games of the season and a team is only at 20 wins, they should not have a paywall up. That's crazy to me. I'm just like, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Yeah, especially last year, all the tanking for flag and stuff. That was tough. Okay, let's turn our attention to the Magic now. You know, obviously, we want to get kind of your outsider perspective on that. Huge offseason for the Magic. Obviously, the biggest name acquired this year was Desmond Bane. Now, you know how sports fans are. When a fan base acquires a player, we start talking ourselves into it. You know, how he's going to change the game for us, how he's going to elevate us, and all that kind of stuff. As a certified ball knower, which I think most people consider you to be, a guy who watches a lot of basketball, what's your perspective on Desmond Bane? What do you think he's going to bring to the Magic going forward in this season?
Oh man, I'm super excited for this marriage. First and foremost, I love it because it was a curveball. I love when franchises and organizations are able to make moves like that happen without it getting out. That shows that the Orlando Magic are close knit and they're moving in a certain way that I respect and I kind of envy as a Knicks fan who, for whatever reason, everything escapes our building. But I'm a big Desmond Bane fan. I am a huge Desmond Bane fan. So I'm excited for him to be able to take another step with his game and a new scenery. It's the Eastern Conference. What he brings, you guys need. I always love transactions and pairings where a player is acquired or signed or whatever, and it's to a team that needs exactly what they do. And it's going to be interesting because he's used to playing with obviously Ja Morant, who's a very ball dominant point guard. And I think with Orlando, you have some wings and a forwards, who could control the basketball. But I think they're also versatile enough to allow him to explore and maybe more consistently have more reps with the basketball in his hand. We used to see that from Desmond Bane when Ja Morant would, have the suspension or the different injuries. But now I think that could be a consistent part of his game. And he actually impressed me when Ja Morant did miss time. I thought he would be negatively affected by that because I wasn't sure if Desmond Bane could handle the responsibility of creating his own shot at times and being the top perimeter focus of the defense. But I look at all of that, and I also look at the fact that you're playing with Paolo Banchero, who is always going to be the top priority of the opposing defenses. I look at Franz Wagner, who just had an incredible EuroBasket run, and he looks like he's going to have a crazy monster year, jump shot looking better and everything like that. And so it's like, man, if you're telling me Desmond Bane is going to be a third option and is a third priority for opposing offenses, and he can play without the basketball when Paolo and Franz are driving. When Franz get to his right, it's very scary for the league. And defenses are constantly collapsing. And Desmond Bane is able to, play off of those guys. I think Desmond Bane, the sky's the limit. I think we're so used to being able to put ceilings on guys. Like, this is who he is. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I also am not trying to put my expectations too over the top, because though I'm not a Magic fan, you couldn't tell me that KCP wasn't about to change the dynamic for y'all. Last year, I like, you could not convince me that KCP was not the savior for Orlando. So I have to remind myself that
we
too.
thought that too, yeah.
And I have to pump the brakes a little bit, because I'm like, y'all, I'm a Desmond Bain fan, and I love Paolo and Franz, obviously. And so I got excited a lot, but I'm like, you know what? Let me pump my brakes. But I think it's a win-win. I don't look at this as a move that can fail. Now, will Desmond Bain reach an all-star level? Maybe. Will he just be a third option that complements those guys, and it's still not enough? Because one guy can't knock down shots and just solve all of the three-point shooting issues, but it's a step in the right direction. But I think when you talk about bringing back Suggs, him being healthy, Bain, Franz, another year for Paolo, this team is going to be really, really, really good. Tristan Da Silva is going to be in his second year. Hopefully Jonathan Isaac is going to be healthy. There's a lot to like here. So I do think there is a world where Desmond Bain can like reach new heights as a player, especially to the not so awakened fan. There's a lot of people that still don't know how good Desmond Bain is.
Now the Magic on the floor are going to have a new look, but overall they're also going to have a new look with the rebrand. And knowing you and that you're a big Penny guy, you're a big T-Mac guy, and you're also a very fashionable guy. I know that you find the Penny pinstripes and the T-Mac Stars jerseys like iconic looks. Where do you rank like the new logo and the new jerseys for the Magic in terms of like Magic history?
Oh, in Magic history. They are probably, I'm going to be honest, nothing is going to beat the original Penny, especially with the black pinstripes, the young Shaq. But there was a time like 2004 where I was extremely pissed off at the Magic. Big T-Mac fan. There is no internet, so you're not aware when there's a rebranding. You just turn on the TV one day and they're wearing new jerseys. And Tracy McGrady is wearing this plain basic jersey. And I was so, oh my gosh. I was like, what is this? And then a little bit later, y'all traded T-Mac and got Steve Francis, and Steve Francis was wearing the plain jersey. It just, I don't know. I'm glad y'all brought it back though. It does not hit like the 90s. I don't know why. I don't know why. I like it, but it isn't like it doesn't hit like that 90s. And I'm not even a super 90s. I was just born in the 90s. But I would say third. It was probably third. It's probably third for me. I like the 90 ones. I like the early 2000 where they went away from the pinstripes, but they still had like the Magic like stuff. The first early T-Mac most improved player. And then I actually like what y'all had before this recent change. I thought those jerseys were perfectly fine. I'm also probably an outlier here. I'm secretly a big fan of the sleeves. Remember you guys used to have the gray sleeve jerseys?
Yep. Oh,
I like Victor Oladipo days.
I still got my Elfrid Payton Adidas gray sleeve jersey. I hated them on the floor, but like if you're just throwing like a fit together to go out, like I would get compliments on them all the time. Like I would be, in Orlando. Like I remember being at the outlets and being in the Nike store, and this kid come up to me and be like, "I hate when they wear those, but like in person, like it's nice." And I do think, P, when you see the jerseys this year in the games and on the new floor, I do think you might feel differently because in person, they really do pop.
Okay. I can believe that because you remember the only thing I saw was like the photo shoot. I don't really like any of the jerseys in the photo shoots. The players are just like posing. Right. You're right. It's different when you're actually in a basketball stand shooting and running up and down the court versus like a white background, just holding a basketball. But yeah, I think the Magic are one of those teams also that I've never had to do too much. I think the logo, the name, the color scheme, luckily for y'all, kind of like the Hawks. I always think the Hawks don't really have to do too much. Black, red, and yellow is just like, I don't know. It's just something about it. Chicago Bulls are the same way too. But no, yeah, I like the sleeves, man. I like that team too. That's Fournier, Peyton, young Aaron Gordon.
Hey,
you got
don't let our
Victor
listeners
Oladipo.
hear anybody talking good about Evan Fournier. That's not allowed. I'm the Evan Fournier defender here, but no, the listeners is not big EF guys.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Who else is on that team?
Aaron
Vooch,
Gordon, Nikola
obviously.
Vucevic.
Vooch was there.
Was Andrew Nicholson on that team? Was that
Andrew
young Mo
Nicholson,
Harkless?
the torture chamber.
Luke
Kylo
Ridnour.
Quinn.
Luke
Paolo
Ridnour
Quinn.
wore those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tobias
Wow.
Harris.
Yes, young Tobias Harris, man. Yes.
That
Yes.
I'll just be honest. That green or that gray short sleeve jersey is going to be a very polarizing opinion there, because some Magic fans love them, some Magic fans absolutely hate them. And
It's like that on our show. Like I think
Yeah.
me and Mike like them, and D Mills and Kenny, they hate all of the sleeve jerseys. But me and Mike are like, I wouldn't be mad at bringing them back. And I get wearing it in person too. It's nothing. A sleeveless jersey is very hard to get off. That's why I wear a lot of football jerseys, because you're just like, what are you gonna do? Wear an undershirt? Or it's very
I always
hard.
wear the undershirt.
Yeah, I do the
Always
undershirt
do.
too. But I have
Yeah.
a podcast made D Mills who popped out without an undershirt. And I was like, oh, people do this. Okay.
That's
Love
amazing.
Derek.
Let's see. You mentioned earlier, I heard you talk about Anthony Black. I know you were a big Anthony Black fan. Obviously, when he was drafted, you mentioned you got to talk with him. What have been your thoughts about AB's career so far? And obviously this season, when we talk about the Desmond Bane trade, a lot of guys had to leave in order to make room for that, that acquisition. We lost a lot of guards. Cole Anthony gone, KCP gone, Gary Harris gone. So naturally, there's a big hole here that Anthony Black's going to step into. What have you thought about AB's career so far, and what do you think about this opportunity that he has this season?
I think it's been up and down, like most young players, especially on a team where I would say that the things that he does best is kind of neutralized, unfortunately, because you have such incredible basketball players like Franz and Paolo who can play with the basketball. Then you have Jalen Suggs. And then it's like if you're playing in the second unit, Cole Anthony on any given night can be a 26-point scorer. So it's very hard. And then it's like there's not a lot of three-point shooting. So his strength at the other levels and coming into the NBA was supposed to be able to break down defenses and like drive and kick to shooters. And it felt like at times he was being the guy that people were driving and kicking to, and that's not really a strong point. You love what he can do defensively at times. Then there was times early on where you still got to see him like growing his body. You can still see that the development physically still wasn't there yet. But I love that y'all gave up so much and now put pressure on him. I think young players need pressure. I think they need expectations, and I think they have to answer the call. As much as I love Anthony Black, as much as y'all love Anthony Black, the Orlando Magic are in a position where they're trying to win. And anybody that can't help or contribute to the level that they're expected to win, they're going to have to move on from. And, depending on the type of person, it's not a good thing to hear. But based off of the person I have gotten to know Anthony Black to be, and even the way he was raised and its people around him, I think that's the pressure that he needs and that he's going to want. And again, if you're a competitive player, especially a guard, I think this is what you want. You want to, I know this is what like Jalen Suggs want. You see, when they got a little tough for Jalen Suggs, he came in and he was the first guy that they selected, but Franz ended up shooting out and it wasn't looking so good for Jalen Suggs. He responded and he figured it out. And you love that. And I want to see the same type of thing, not at the same level, but just I want Anthony Black to figure out exactly who he is and what he is supposed to do to impact the Magic to win basketball games and to be at their fullest potential, because there is something there for him to figure it out. I really think so.
P, part of this internet culture and a thing that you and I have talked about before on this show is the Devin Booker tweet or quote that you can't talk basketball with everybody. And there seems to be a pretty strong contingent of the internet who come across as like really educated about basketball, but it does become pretty obvious that maybe they're not necessarily watching the games. They're just, crunching formulas into their Excel spreadsheets or whatever the case may be. So there's a pretty big part of like the basketball online media space who are not big fans of Paolo Banchero and or Franz Wagner kind of by extension. In your opinion, what do those guys have to do to kind of quiet the haters?
To be honest with you, continue to do what they're doing. I wouldn't really care too much. The funny thing about those guys that have those opinions, number one, everybody's entitled to have their opinion. Absolutely. Consume the game the way you want to, in a way that is convenient for you to understand and have an opinion. I'm not against anything at all. My only argument against that is it sometimes feels forced. It feels like guys go into crunching the numbers to find somebody to dislike. It's not always a thing, because Paolo, Banchero, Franz, Wagner, they're good basketball players. That's why Paolo Banchero was drafted the way he was. That's why he was projected to be that before he was ever in the NBA. That's why the Magic started to have success the minute he stepped on the team. And it's always funny to me too, because it makes me feel like I think there's a lot of guys that turned out to be legendary that if the internet was around, they wouldn't like back then. Everybody didn't always have these beautiful, efficient starts to their careers. Everybody didn't have everything figured out. And now it's kind of like, it's always been what have you done for me lately? But it's like there's this rush for guys to instantly have everything figured out, and we don't care about develop. Like, one of the things I love to do, I over the summer, I had gallstones and I had to get them removed, a couple procedures and whatever. And so I had a lot of downtime. And what I would do in my downtime, instead of watching highlights or even watching an entire game, I love to watch a player's progression. So what you can do is you can pull up, and we have Synergy, but you can do this without Synergy. You can go back and you can even like type in like a year, go to a basketball reference, and you can type in Russell Westbrook rookie season. And there's a Thunder fan that will have like a 25-minute little film thing of Russell Westbrook's fresh rookie year. And then you can type in his sophomore season, the year of his sophomore season. And then you can type in the third and the fourth. And when you do this for different players, you'll start to see progression in different forms and different levels. And it's like, I love that about basketball and sports. I love seeing a rookie quarterback, and then it's like 5 years later, he's Josh Allen. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, when I watch his rookie stuff, I never would have imagined this. And it's like, yeah, I don't understand how we put caps on the guys that are 22. It's like, man, he's 22. This is it. He's efficient. He holds the ball too long, and he's not better than Jalen Williams, who plays with the MVP and the Oklahoma City Thunder and ain't really got the responsibility. And it's just like the damnest comparisons. But I honestly hope have I met Paolo? I don't think I've ever met Paolo or Franz. Unfortunately, at least not yet. I don't think I have. I hope that they don't worry about those things, because it's once you become one of those guys, it's nothing you can do anyway. It's nothing you can do anyway. And a lot of the people that talk, like you said, they're not watching the game. They're watching numbers. And I have no gripe against numbers, but I do think that there's a world where you have to use both. And if you're just crunching in numbers, then you're going to think a lot of players are a lot better than other players. Hey, Steve Nash numbers are going to look better than Kobe Bryant. Steve Nash in no way in hell is even close to Kobe Bryant. The saying is, when men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Numbers lie. Numbers can be manipulated.
These guys would have hated Allen Iverson, by the way.
They would have hated him.
Been convinced that Allen Iverson was not good at basketball.
They would have hated him. They would have hated Rajon Rondo. All of these guys we grew up loving. They're so like you. They would have hated Michael Jordan because he didn't have he wouldn't have had a high enough 3-point rate. You know what I mean? Like, there's just I don't know. And that's the other thing too, where the guys that are into that, they want everybody to play the same. And I just don't like that. I don't think everybody has to have this threshold. It's like these thresholds, percentages, and it's like you need to have this much 3-point rate, and you got to have this much rim and this much free throw rate and this pass percentage. And what it is it will make everybody be the same player. Like, no, Shea, don't start shooting threes that much. Like, if you're a mid-range guy, Shea, do it. And if they give you the three, you take it. That's how I was taught to play basketball. You give what the defense takes you, and you can continuously put them on their toes. But yeah, hopefully they don't listen to too much of it. Now I say that with a grain of salt, because criticism at times will definitely help you, but you have to know where it's coming from. And Twitter is not the place where Paolo Banchero and Franz should be listening to the criticism. And again, the situation matters too. You know what I mean? Like, the Orlando Magic by no means last year was perfect. Like, who would have known that KCP was, what did he shoot? 29, 28% from, did he get 30? Did he get to 30?
I think he did get to 30 by the end of the year.
Yeah,
he finished the year pretty strong, which definitely painted a better picture than what was reality.
Yeah. So, but still, we were expecting 39, 40. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't listen to those guys. Get those wins. That's what matters. Paolo Banchero, y'all made it to the playoffs his second year, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Y'all went 7 with the Cavs.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And turn on game 5 of that series, folks.
Yeah.
Hey, Scoot Henderson went what pick? I'm not trying to take a shot at Scoot.
Went
third,
right? Yeah.
And Portland Trailblazers would do anything to have been able to make it to the playoffs on his back of his play, the way that the Magic, like, I don't know. Are we playing to win? Or are we playing for analytics?
Right.
Just win the game. Hey,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, you're a fool if you think players don't want to be efficient. I think Paolo Banchero would love to be 50, 40, 90, but he has basketball games to win. And hey, that's another conversation. That's another conversation, because I think a selfish player plays to be able to get the proper analytics. Great players like Kevin Durant, it's like, hey, if my numbers can line up with what I'm doing because I'm this great, they're just going to happen anyway. But like, I love when Dirk won that championship with the Mavericks, because a few of those games wasn't pretty, but he had to keep playing and fighting. But if he was like, man, my analytics gonna take a hit, so let me pass the ball. Like, everybody has a job and a duty to do when you play basketball. Playmaking shot creators, they have to shoot. They have to keep the defense honest and on their toes. Paolo Banchero can't stop shooting because the shot isn't falling. He can't go into a game saying, man, I'm shooting 32% from 3, so I ain't gonna take that many today. No, you gotta, and it opens it up for everybody else. So that's a whole different conversation. But as y'all can see, that those conversations piss me off a lot too. And again, I'm not even a Magic fan, but it's a forced conversation that didn't need to be had.
Yeah, we're hoping that the more eyes that are on Franz and Paolo this season and going forward, that some of those conversations might change a little bit. Paolo and Franz are part of, obviously, this like up and coming generation of stars across the league. You know, the three of us, we grew up in, I mean, arguably the golden age of stars. Like when you think about LeBron to KD to Steph to on and on the list goes, right? But those guys are kind of in the twilight of their years. I'm curious what you think about this next generation of stars that are going to kind of lead the way for the NBA. Obviously, in Orlando, we think of a guy like Paolo, but across the league, what are your thoughts on this next generation? And do you think the league is in good hands, I guess, with this next generation of superstars?
Yeah, I do. I think the league is in great hands. I look around and I see so much talent, and it's like we did our top 10 point guards, and what I was telling the guys is like, because of the influx of talent, you don't come correct one year, you'll not be on the list. Like, I couldn't believe a year or two ago, De'Aaron Fox was in like my top 5. Like, he was pushing up to the top end. And now coming to this year, and I thought about not putting him in the top 10. He made like 10th, I believe, but I was almost like going to put him 11. And some of the guys on the pod did have him like 11 or 12. And it's like, that's because the talent is so much like there. And you still have those older guys still pushing these guys and being part of the top. You know, if you talk about the top 10, I think we all would probably, on a consensus level, have Steph. KD is probably in there, and LeBron is probably still in there. So that's like 3 spots from the top 10 that still is the past era. So yeah, you just gotta be on your toes. I feel like when we were growing up, there were staples. Nash was a staple. Durant, Bron, Kobe, Wade, Shaq, Duncan, Garnett, staples. There was never any fluctuating. Those are always going to be the top guys. And now it's like, man, a few years ago, I think Devin Booker was my number 1 shooting guard. I think Anthony Edwards was the number 1 shooting guard last year. Hell, I don't know what it's going to be this year. Maybe Anthony Edwards again. Donovan Mitchell will definitely be in the conversation. It's just, it's incredible. I love Cade. I love Paolo. I love Shea. I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be great, obviously. I still love Trae Young. Like, I know he's a little bit out of that class. He's like 27, but he's just entering his prime. Jalen Williams is really, really good. Franz, I think, has levels that he can continue to get to. Who else do we have? Tyrese Maxey, I like. And then I also like the paths, right? Like Jalen Brunson is a star in his league, and it's not the prototypical path. Luka, it's so much overwhelming talent. And then you got like a strong draft class that just came in, right, with Cooper Flagg. And then they're saying that this other class with Darian Peterson, Boozer, and DeBonsa, like we are getting some good talent coming in. We just got to make sure that we appreciate it and that we don't take it for granted, because I got guys that I took for granted for sure.
Now, as we continue to talk a little bit about the young talent coming into the league, the Magic, by most accounts, had one of the better drafts this year. What's your opinion on the draft that the Magic had, bringing in Jace Richardson and bringing in Noah Penda?
I thought it was excellent. Like every mock draft that I did, and you got to remember my mock draft was before Desmond Bane got there too, which had y'all at, what was that original pick?
16? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was 16.
I had y'all taking Jace Richardson then. So then when the draft actually materialized and y'all got him at what, 21, 23 or something like that?
It was
23?
25?
I'll look it
like
up.
That. 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I was ecstatic for y'all. I was like, man, this is a guy that I had them getting earlier with the original pick. He just felt like a perfect fit, right? Doesn't do too much with the basketball. 25.
Attaboy.
Can play off of the catch. Young, so you don't have to rush and get him out there on the floor. Was able to guard, play within the team scheme in Michigan State. So I like that pick a lot. Now, I think Noah Penda was underrated in this draft class just because of the versatility. And I think that's on par with the Magic, right? The Jonathan Isaacs, the Franz Wagners, the Silvas and Palos. Like, y'all have thrived on versatility for a bunch of the years that we've seen. Even in the Aaron Gordon days, like, y'all have always just had these guys who can guard like 2 through 4, small ball 5. So I like Noah Penda. I think he'll catch some people off guard. Maybe not this year, but down the line, especially being on a team that's a playoff team. I think there's always a lot to learn there. And I think the Magic do a good job of, I'm trying to think back. My years get mixed up. Y'all always do a good job of like kind of having some under the radar picks. Mo Harkless, I don't think anybody was high on. He was a hell of a pick out of St. John's. I remember him as a freshman at St. John's, and I was like, I wonder where he's going to go. And that was a year y'all got a bunch of people. Paolo Quinn was an underrated pick. Elfrid Payton was not like a super known guy. He was supposed to be Rondo number 2, and y'all took the chance on him. Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, when he was picked, like people don't remember, Aaron Gordon was not projected to go. It felt like a little bit of a reach when y'all took him. So yeah, y'all have done Evan Fournier. No. The Nuggets drafted.
That was a trade. Yeah. It was a great trade, but it was a trade. It wasn't a draft.
Yeah. That's when he was wearing 94 with the Nuggets.
That's right.
There you go.
But yeah, y'all have always done a good job. Even the Franz pick, that was like the second pick of the 2 y'all had, and that was a home run. So I've enjoyed a lot of the selections y'all had. So I think Noah Penda is going to be one of those guys that in the next 3 or 4 years will come back to this and be like, hey, that was just the second pick of our draft, but he's playing real rotational minutes and has a role on a playoff team that is trying to win a championship.
Now, I think for the moment, a lot of Magic fans have been waiting for. Let's get your thoughts on where this team can maybe compete in the Eastern Conference this season. Now, don't sugarcoat it just because you're on a Magic podcast. Where do you think the Magic stack up with the rest of the East this season?
It's interesting because it's open for everybody. I will say this. The Cavaliers and the Knicks are like in that top part with the East being vulnerable. I think we all kind of just assuming that they're going to be 1 and 2, all healthy. And then I think that's where teams like the Hawks and you guys can like really like lick your chops and rub your hands. Like because that's, to me, is realistic. Now, for me, I would have Cleveland, New York, Atlanta. I'm big on Atlanta this year. And then I would probably have y'all at 4. And then I don't know. But I think y'all can be a home court advantage team. The one thing that scares me for a team like Orlando and Atlanta is like, I don't know about y'all. It's very, very hard for me to rule out Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know. That Bucks team sucks on paper. It does not look that well. I don't want to say sucks. That was harsh. It doesn't look as sexy as it has.
It's not looking great.
Yeah.
But I don't. He is always best when you kind of count him out. So I'm watching him very, very closely. The way he just played. I mean, the last game, what he had like 12, 13 points or something like that. Kind of ran out of gas there, but he did his thing with the Euro and the EuroBasket, and that bronze meant a lot to him. So he's definitely dialed in, locked in. They got the NASA's back, and then Detroit. Detroit is a team that you got to watch. I think I'm prepared for them to take a step back, but again, like, and I hate putting this in the air on our Orlando Magic podcast, but then you also have to think about the injuries of last year. Like, it was so unfortunate, and this applies to every team, by the way, too. Right. But yeah, like, the Magic are a team where y'all, as good as y'all are, you do need Paolo to be available, and you need Franz. But bringing in a Desmond Bane, I think, kind of also helps y'all. Now that I'm actually saying it out loud, because I like, if the Hawks miss Trae Young, if we went down the line with these teams and they miss their top player, y'all now have a little bit more cushion. Like, if Cade Cunningham goes down, I don't know what to say for the Pistons. If Trae Young went down, I wouldn't really know what to say for the Hawks. The Bucks, we don't even have to speak on. So yeah, y'all probably have some of the best support if you were to experience another injury. But we're going to knock on wood that won't happen with Franz and Paolo. Those obliques are nice and strong and prepared to play. I want to ask y'all a question. Who is the starting center for the Orlando Magic?
It's Wendell.
Okay. It's Wendell.
Okay.
It's still Wendell.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
okay with that?
Mo and Goga, they do their thing, right? We know what they're going to bring. But as far as I'm concerned, it's Wendell. And I've said it on a couple episodes lately. I think this could be a bounce back year for Wendell. I'm maybe drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but I think there's a chance that this is Wendell of 3 seasons ago. I think we could see that from him this year. And if he does, man, I think that obviously puts the Magic in a really good spot. But it's Wendell. Yeah.
And I'm kind of at the spot where, like, once the Bane deal was made, to me, that was like, okay, if we can also get an upgrade at the starting center position, like, we're really in contending status. And that was before, like, the Halliburton injury and, you know, all that kind of went down. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, the East really is kind of wide open right now. So, but last question that I have for you, bringing up the Pacers, is because the East does feel so wide open, and we've seen collapses out of the Cavs, you know, the last couple of years. We've seen the Knicks obviously struggle with health and depth at this point with some of the moves that they've made. Do you think it is a possibility that the Magic could have like a Pacers-esque run?
I'm going to say not this year. The reason I would say not this year is it's a little too new. I think one of the things that the Pacers had was they acquired Pascal Siakam, and then they were able to have that full year with him, and there was a little bit more continuity there. The Desmond Bane thing is still so fresh, and it's still so new. That always concerns me. That would be a reason why I wouldn't look at the Hawks as well. I think the Hawks can have a great season for their standard, but I don't see the Hawks making some type of run because there is so many moving pieces. You're bringing in Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Ricochet is year 2, and Jalen Johnson only played 36 games last year. There's just a lot of moving pieces. Hell, I didn't think my Knicks was going to go as far as they did last year. And one of the reasons was because it was the first year of Karl-Anthony Towns. So I'm also not the spokesperson because clearly that doesn't mean as much, right? Like, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, we've seen teams kind of be thrown together, but I think a lot of the times that happens is the super elite talent. It's LeBron going back to team up with Kyrie. You know what I mean? It's AD and LeBron. It's, I don't even want to say KD to the Warriors, but it's that level. But the Desmond Baines and everything, and I'm still kind of questioning the 3-point shooting as a team, a collective
Totally
team.
fair.
But I do think that the success isn't that for the Magic. It's like the Chicago Bears. I'm a Bears fan. There's a lot of Bears fans that saw the offseason and all the hype and the excitement, and it's like Super Bowl. No, hell no. Positive winning record. Start like reasonable, and we'll I don't think there's anything wrong with gradual improvement. I was a little bit upset with the Knicks losing to the Pacers because that was a very beatable team, and you have this chance to get there. You beat the Celtics. I never thought that was going to happen, and then it felt like if you beat the Celtics, you can beat the Pacers. And when we lost, I was pissed, but then I had to remind myself, like, man, it was also I just went to an Eastern Conference game and watched my Knicks play. So in some world of like settling down, it was a successful season. And I think if the Magic come in and they have home court advantage in the playoffs and they are able to make it to the second round and not get ran out of the gym or win, to me, that is a successful season. To me. Now, y'all are Magic fans, so, you know, you want to see the championship run, especially in a year where it's wide open. I understand it, but I would just want to see, if I was a Magic fan, I would just want to see a step from Paolo. And it doesn't always have to mean that you get 3+ points in your PPG. Sometimes it's just making better reads, being more comfortable, maybe being a little bit more effective in the playoffs. Maybe it's Wendell Carter getting to 3 years ago, Wendell, like you said. Maybe it's Jalen Suggs being able to have a fully complete all defensive season. Maybe it's Desmond Bain taking an all-star leap and then playing really well in the playoffs. It's so many like the Cavaliers can't get through that wall. So I'm looking at teams like that and I'm like, man, like that is a place where you don't want to be. Like I think the gradual thing is nice because once you skip that step, man, the expectation rises, and before you know it, your team is not even your team anymore. Like I remember when the Hawks made the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's like from that point on, that's the expectation. Oh, we didn't make it. Now, man, Herter is traded. John Collins is gone, and now we're back. They had the number 1 pick. Imagine y'all skip a step in a vulnerable East, and then the next year you get bounced in the first round because Tatum and everybody's back, and now they saying they got to trade Franz Wagner, and it's like, damn, that was fast. We was just trying to win a championship. So me as a fan, I like to kind of take things slow because this new NBA moves on fast. That's another thing that's different from our era where like Kobe was going to be on the Lakers for a damn long time. But now it's just like, man, your favorite player, he could be gone quick.
I think most Magic fans will take winning like the first playoff series in 15 years. I think we can kind of start there and then kind of see how everything goes. You know, I think we'll be good with that. But all right, P, we are going to let you go here, my friend. Appreciate you taking the time. If this was your first introduction to P, you can hear him weekly on Numbers on the Board and also his podcast, Teed Up. So be sure to check both of those out. Obviously, from what you've heard, he knows ball. So be sure to check in on both of those. And P, you want to let our listeners know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, man, you just find me around PeeWeeDaPlug. I should be the only PeeWeeDaPlug that exists. If I'm not and you get scammed, that's on you. But no, I'm not that far away. Always, engaging, looking for good basketball conversations with perspective, looking to grow and learn, and share the game that we love. I think there's a lot of positivity and things about the game that can bring us together, despite all of the people that's trying to tear it apart and bring things down. So I appreciate y'all for allowing me to come on the podcast again and show some love to my Orlando Magic foes, because man, hey, I am so, y'all don't understand how happy I am Cole Anthony don't play for that damn team. Cole Anthony is just like this dude that just like, man, he loves playing at the Garden. He loves playing at the Garden, and now we got to worry about it with the
Bucks.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're right. But I'd rather worry about it with the Bucks than the Magic.
Appreciate it, P.
All love.
Yeah. A big thank you to our guy, Pierre, P, our friend. Always fun talking with him. And I'm just ready for Magic basketball, Kev. I know that's like my go-to line when we finish all of these interviews, but like hearing you and I, like, it's just kind of this little like echo chamber that we have here. We just talk back and forth. There are some things that we differ on, but we're both really excited about this. But like guest after guest to kind of get outside of that and hear that to varying degrees, people are optimistic about the Magic season. I'm just ready to get it started. And as you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on Monday, we're 2 weeks from Media Day.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Media Day, which means we are less than 3 weeks away from seeing this team play the preseason opener on October 4th in Puerto Rico, which will be fun. But yeah,
Saturday.
What?
Right? It's that Saturday, isn't
right,
it?
That's what I'm saying. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from the following. So 2 weeks from this Saturday.
Yeah,
is when that is on October 4th. So yeah, that's very exciting. But yeah, it's great to get, again, some outsider perspective, and certainly outsider perspective of someone that we trust, like that we know actually watches the NBA. You know, we always say national analysts, they can't watch every team every night. And obviously we're not going to say Pierre is capable of doing that either, but he gets pretty close. He watches a lot of basketball. He's one of those guys that, again, really knows ball. And so to get his perspective on the Magic, on the league, on the acquisitions and everything in between, it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, appreciate him coming on the show.
It's crazy what happens when you actually try to do a good job of covering the league.
Wow.
Unfortunately, not everybody does that. They cover the whole league.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily try to do a good job of it. And we always appreciate Pierre and the entire team over at Numbers on the Board. Always feel like they do a great job and like talk about teams fairly. And they don't get, kind of sucked into the like, how can we get Paolo to the Knicks? How can we get Franz to the Lakers? Like, they don't get stuck in all that crap. Like, they're like, small market teams deserve to have their stars and be good too. So I always appreciate Pierre. But Kev, I think that is going to go ahead and do it for this one. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. A big thank you again to our friend Pierre. For Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!